Yo, hey, what's up? Hi, my people. My name is Ty. I'm your true school hip hop artist and philosopher, and welcome to this special edition of the So Explicit. I am super happy to present this. Judging because it's been a while, it's been, I don't know, like a year or something since I last did my last episode, but yo, I'll tell you guys all about that. But first, welcome to this so special edition of the So Explicit. I am shooting this episode at a time where like my life, my artistical career is at a transition. I feel a lot of things are changing, and since it's been a whole lot of time since I did my last episode, I have changed too. My artistical nature has changed too. I want to celebrate milestones. I have a debut album. In that period, when I didn't shoot that episode, I've dropped my debut album. It's called The Fundamentals, the basic settings of being ill. That's what fundamentals of ill means. And so, yeah, I did that. I dropped that mid last year, and it has like 8,000 streams on Spotify already. So yeah, that's that. I'm also working on my second album as we speak. The hustle era, the grinding era. You understand me? Because it represents that phase in my life where I had to just get out and go get mine. So yeah, that's that. And also most importantly, the reason why I decided to like take it this far in filming and to sort of have an episode is because of something that I feel like my listeners and people who connect with my music have absolutely questioned me about. They're like, typroblemm, are you really a philosopher? Are you really somebody who's dug into sacred knowledge, things like that? Somebody who's really sought out some mysteries of life and can tell us something new? And I agree with that perspective because, and it's important to test out somebody because in this day and era where it's easy to say anything, in this day and era, artists will say anything to live, to get the fame, to get the clout. So it's easy to get an artist ascribing to themselves honors and titles. And there are things that this artist is not living. So the question was, typroblemm, are you really a philosopher or do you just say it? And I'm going to address that in this clip. So hey, without a doubt, come with me, man. Let's get into this. Let's get into this. Let's reflect on the old album. Let's talk about the new album I'm creating, and let's talk philosophy. So Explicit, ep6. Are you really ready? Ta. Yo, when I started hustling for myself, I think I was 11. January 2017, results are out. It doesn't look like I'm joining college anytime soon. Besides, even if I did, I wouldn't. Because my father was financially a 3-year-old at the time. At 19, I was clocking night shifts all night, grinding out inside, go down to Nairobi, grinding out. I'm not new to this. Self-care might erase some dust, but experience and mastery is proof of this. I came a long way, baby, you have to smell it on me. Can you tell from the way I walk, talk that I had to earn for some time peeling potatoes at a food store? 0 fucks to give in this troubled seas. I see 100 G's. The only way to win, stacking the Billy G's. Poverty really bothers me, wanted all to freeze. Life was a heavy cough. Back then I was a sneeze. I was conditioned by the system to be a good worker, obey my superiors. They slept while I grinded. How do you justify the biased distribution? You're haunted by demons, I'm haunted by factors. I'm like the greatest life hack. This is the kind of stuff, my nigga, you're born with. Am I the only one who think life is for the living? Giving 40 years away, simply unforgiving. I'm too ambitious for my age. Got the rage of a hustler, the voice of a sage. The sight of a cam, I'm contained like a cage. I want the freedom of ownership, not just a wage. Shit. So, when it comes to philosophy, the nature of reality, and such kind of topics, I want to begin by saying that philosophy, truth, nature, reality, and the higher teachings, not the higher, the deeper teachings, the teachings about the nature of that which we call God, and the deeper mysteries and sacred secrets of life. These are things that choose you. Philosophy is something that chooses you. Like you do not admit yourself or qualify yourself, right? And those who try to force philosophy on themselves, they end up corrupting their mental nature, manifesting something we call craziness and such kinds of occult phenomena. So, what is philosophy? Philosophy is the study of truth, nature, and reality based on logical means and reasonable ends. Philosophy is an approach of truth and reality based on evidence, so that the result may be clearly reasonable, may be clearly logical, enough to guide one's life. So, in ancient times, those who were philosophers, those who pursued nature, truth, and reality, were called wisdom seekers or lovers of wisdom. And a philosophy, simplified, is just a formula of life. It's a formula, and we need formulas to approach life. We need food, shelter, and clothing, but we also have other needs. That is a clear philosophical drive for life to make sense of creation, reality, and being, and our place in it, so that we may guide our decisions, right? What we shall spend our life on, right? And our mind bids us to seek or to search for the highest philosophy or formula or rule and conduct of life, because it's promised success at the end, right? So there are different kinds of philosophies, and the major ones are religions. Religions are philosophies or formulas of life which have been discovered and shared by human beings who apparently were higher in knowledge and understanding. And so they sought to spread their teaching because they couldn't give us their teaching. It's impossible to have the knowledge of a philosophical teacher like Christ. It's impossible to have the knowledge of a philosophical teacher like Krishna or Buddha. But what they did is they gave us a framework. All of the most ancient philosophers, guys like Plato or seekers of truth, guys like Hermes Trismegistus, they gave us they pointed the way, right? So that he who knows how to seek, he who's willing to put down his mental preconceptions and seek out something new and experiment, he may discover some really valuable stuff about himself and about the universe, right? So the philosophies which most people know are religions, but there are other philosophies which are sort of hidden from the most because they concern the deeper aspect, the higher teachings. And why have the higher teachings always been hidden? Why are the higher philosophies always been hidden from the masses? Because the masses are not prepared. You have to be prepared mentally. And what do I mean by being prepared? One of the highest philosophical teachers said that the number one step to seeking for knowledge and truth and some higher teaching is humility. Being humble enough to become like a kid again. It's not humility. It's wiping your mind. It's opening up your mind to even consider new stuff. Because what do you have to lose? If today you began your journey in philosophies, you went exploring the different teachings, you have everything to gain and nothing to lose. Because if you find that philosophy is bullshit and that there is no higher teaching, then fine. You already have the teaching you have, the philosophy or the formula you have. But what if by chance you stumble upon one of the highest, one of the most expensive treasures of human life. And what is that? It's wisdom. This is the fruit of philosophy. And I'm telling you, you really gotta seek for that, right? So one of the advantages of philosophy is you might come into contact, you might be honored to be revealed unto you the higher teachings, right? To know how miracles were performed, which are of secondary importance, to know the purpose of life and not just believe in it to know it, right? To have a guide, to have knowledge is the guide upon your feet in life, right? But a disadvantage of philosophy is that the responsibility which it brings. One of the most highly rated philosophers in our time, the King Solomon, said in his book of Ecclesiastes, it's a Jewish scripture, that whoever increaseth knowledge increases also sorrow. And you'll understand how knowledge increases sorrow because of being aware too much. Because when you know the truth, now you have to do it. Now you have no excuse. You can't say I didn't know. Because once you know the truth, your own evolution is in your own hands. Nature doesn't do it for you anymore. You gotta take up the work of evolving, right? Of guiding, of being like a divinity unto yourself. And most people are not ready for this responsibility. So here, well, what I would tell somebody who's dipping their minds into philosophy is that the very fact that you're interested, the very fact that you have questions, the very fact that this even catches your attention is maybe something is calling onto you. So you gotta pursue it. Where do you find philosophy? The highest philosophies, which explain the highest and the most logical knowledge about humanity, life, nature, and reality, are hidden in plain sight. They are hidden in the scriptures of the world's religions. They are the esoteric or the inner teaching, which is reserved for the few, as opposed to the exoteric or the outer teaching, which is known to the masses. So basically what they are trying to tell you is that you have to look deeper. You have to seek deeper. Right? So, hey, it's been really, 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 really deep, but hey, let me put it to an end for today. I think we've talked a lot, we've caught up, we've delved into hip-hop, into philosophy, and I'm still here. I was your host, The Real Ty, PROBLEMM, hustle ever, now and forever. Till we meet again, peace. Yeah.